What if I told you that Gen Z is the first generation in modern history that governments can't draft into war, that every recruitment strategy built over the past century has completely failed with this generation, not because they're lazy, but because they see through the lies every other generation fell for? This isn't anti-military. It's not anti-patriotism. It's about a generation that grew up watching endless wars achieve nothing, politicians lie with impunity, and the planet burn, while being told to be grateful for the chance to die for oil. Gen Z looked at the social contract their parents accepted and said, "No thanks, we're good," and that changes everything. The facts. U.S. military recruitment is at its lowest in decades. The Army missed its 2022 goal by 25%. The Navy, Air Force, and Marines all struggled. But the real crisis isn't fitness, it's interest. Only 9% of Gen Z say they'd consider joining the military. In 2001, it was 29%. What changed? Everything. Millennials enlisted after 9/11 believing in duty and freedom. They spent 20 years in wars that ended with chaos and neglect. Gen Z watched it all unfold before they were old enough to enlist. And they learned. The old recruitment playbook, patriotism, benefits, adventure, honor, doesn't work anymore. Here's why. Previous generations got their truth from TV and newspapers. Gen Z gets theirs from everywhere. TikTok, Reddit, international media, leaked documents. When the government says we need to intervene, Gen Z can instantly see 50 first-hand perspectives from the ground. They see the oil, the contracts, the pattern. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Vietnam was stopping communism. Iraq was WMDs. Afghanistan was fighting terror. Each collapsed in real time, online. 73% of Gen Z don't trust the government at all. You can't recruit people to die for institutions they don't believe in. The military still makes glossy TV ads of diverse soldiers high-fiving in sunsets. Gen Z is watching veterans on TikTok say, "Don't do what I did." Authenticity beats propaganda every time. And the authentic message is clear. It's not worth it. For decades, the pitch was economic. Join up, get benefits, escape poverty. Gen Z calls it what it is, a poverty draft. They ask, why should I risk dying to afford an education that's free in other countries? Even with the GI Bill, most still can't afford homes. The VA is broken, benefits are eroded. The deal used to be risk your life, earn stability. Now it's risk your life, get instability and trauma. They've seen veterans homeless, ignored, and discarded. That's not a recruitment pitch. That's a warning label. World War II had purpose. The Cold War had ideology. Today's wars have PowerPoint slides about interests abroad. Gen Z asks, which interests? Whose freedom? For what outcome? They grew up watching democracy crumble, the planet overheat, and billionaires prosper. Fight for your country doesn't inspire when your country won't fight for you. They crave meaning. They want to make a difference, but they don't see that in endless foreign conflicts. If you want them to fight, give them something worth fighting for. Otherwise, they'll fight for climate justice, equality, and reform, not empire. Gen Z is the first generation to prioritize mental health openly. That alone makes them incompatible with traditional military culture. The system teaches suppression, obedience, and sacrifice. Gen Z practices therapy, boundaries, and healing. They've seen what PTSD and burnout do to veterans and families, and they've decided not to repeat it. This isn't cowardice. It's informed self-preservation. Protecting your mind isn't weakness. It's wisdom. Gen Z values climate action, human rights, global cooperation, transparency, military reality, fossil fuel wars, authoritarian allies, drone strikes, covert ops. They're globally connected. Friends, creators, followers from every continent. They don't see others. They see people. So when told to defend American interests, they ask, at whose expense? They reject blind nationalism. The flag doesn't mean the same thing to those who know its full history. You can't recruit someone to fight for a myth they've already fact-checked. The military used to be the only path to adventure, purpose, and income. Now, there are 1,000. Adventure, remote work, van life, travel vlogs, purpose, activism, nonprofits, digital storytelling. Income, freelancing, gig work, e-commerce, creator economy. Why risk dying for $30K when you can live online, make the same, and actually choose your battles? The risk-reward ratio flipped, and the Pentagon can't outmarket freedom. If the military can't recruit, it faces 5 options. Reinstate the draft, political suicide. Gen Z would revolt, privatize more, Expensive and morally gray. Automate. Drones and AI wars. Raising new nightmares. Reform. Honesty, care, transparency. Unlikely. 5. Fight fewer wars. Revolutionary idea, right? Maybe that's the point. Maybe Gen Z's refusal to fight is what finally stops endless wars. Maybe skepticism saves more lives than obedience ever did. Gen Z won't fight your wars because they see through propaganda. They reject exploitation. They protect their minds. They crave meaning. They live their values. They have better options. This isn't generational failure. It's systemic failure. They're breaking the cycle, the one that sacrifices the young for the ambitions of the old, the military-industrial. Complex fears Gen Z not because they're dangerous, but because they're disinterested. War won't work with Gen Z because Gen Z knows war doesn't work, and that might just be humanity's best hope yet. If you found this thought-provoking, share it. To Gen Z, your skepticism isn't cynicism. Your refusal to conform is courage. Keep asking why. Keep demanding better. The world needs your critical thinking more than your compliance. See you next time.